Hello and welcome to day 23 of revising UPSC previous year question papers for UPSC 2027. In this video, I will finish 2023 and I will cover GS4. But as I said in my earlier videos as well, that I will cover the theory questions only as of now of GS4. So once I'm done, I will make a separate video for the case study because I want all the case study at one place. So I will cover those case studies in different videos. But in this video, you will get all the theory questions. So let's get started. Question one. Question one. What do you understand by moral integrity and professional efficiency in the context of corporate governance in India? Illustrate with suitable examples. In corporate governance, moral integrity refers to uncompromising adherence to ethical principles, honesty and fairness, ensuring accountability to stakeholders. Professional efficiency denotes operational excellence, optimal resource utilization, and driving sustainable business value. This is the flow diagram. And dimension and examples. Moral integrity, upholding ethical standards even when legally ambiguous. Example, Tata Group prioritizes ethical business practices and stakeholder welfare over pure profit maximization. Professional efficiency, maximizing output through technological innovation and sound management. Example, Infosys demonstrated corporate excellence by scaling global IT delivery through strong internal auditing. Without moral integrity, efficiency risk turning predatory. Example, Satyam scandal. Merging both ensures sustainable value creation and preserves corporate trust. Question 1b. International aid is an accepted form of helping resource challenged nations. Comment on ethics in contemporary international aid. Support your answer with suitable examples. Ethics in international aid require that developmental and humanitarian assistance or operate on principles of human dignity, transparency, and equity, free from manipulative geopolitical motives. Dimension and examples. Humanitarian imperative, providing unconditional aid during crisis. Example, India's vaccine Maitri and assistance to Turkey during Operation Dost reflect unconditional ethical aid. Strategic exploitation, debt trap diplomacy, using predatory lending to compromise national sovereignty. Example, commercial loans leading to infrastructure lease backs in resource-strained nations highlight unethical aid dynamics. Conditional aid, forcing policy changes that harm local economies. Ethical Ethical international aid must prioritize local empowerment over geopolitical leverage, upholding global solidarity and shared human dignity. Corruption is the manifestation of the failure of core values in the society. In your opinion, what measures can be adopted to uplift the core values in the society? Corruption is not merely a legal violation, it is a moral decay where selfishness overrides public good. It stems from the erosion of fundamental values such as integrity, empathy, and civic responsibility. Value reconstruction matrix. This is the flow diagram. Dimension and value upliftment measures. Value based education. Integrate moral reasoning and ethics into school curricula. Example, Delhi's happiness curriculum. Family as primary educators. Re-emphasize honesty over material success during childhood socialization. Role modeling in public life. Uh, Public servants and political leaders demonstrating zero tolerance for unethical behavior inspire societal standards. Social audits and civil society empower community oversight platforms like Jan Sunwai to restore collective civic ethics. Eradication of corruption requires moving beyond punitive enforcement to a cultural renaissance that rebuilds character and societal values. In the context of work environment, differentiate between coercion and undue influence with suitable examples. Definition and explanation. Both coercion and undue influence impair free will in decision making, but they differ fundamentally in the nature of pressure applied. Comparative dimensions. Coercion and undue influence: nature of force, physical force or explicit threats, psychological manipulation using position. Relational basis. It does not require a prior relationship, requires a relationship of power or trust. Workplace manifestation, threats of firing or salary withholding, pressure from a senior manager. Coercion, a supervisor forcing, that's an example. Coercion, a supervisor forcing an employee to alter safety logs under direct threat of immediate termination. Undue influence, a senior executive convincing a subordinate to work unpaid overtime by exploiting their trust and performance review authority. Fostering unethical workplace requires transparent grievance mechanism to protect individual autonomy against both overt and subtle intimidation. The simplest acts of kindness are by far more powerful than thousand heads bowing in prayer. This quote emphasizes that active compassion and practical moral action outweigh passive, ceremonial, or superficial religious devotion. Efficacy and action, dimension and application, efficacy and action. Prayer generates inner resolve, but kind actions directly relieve human suffering. Civil services context. A bureaucrat showing empathy by helping an illiterate citizen fill out a pension form achieves true public service. Historical example: Mother Teresa demonstrated that hands serving the poor reflects genuine spiritual devotion. Public life, corporate philanthropy that provides clean drinking water creates real transformation compared to lip service. True morality lies in active service. Public servants must translate moral ideals into compassionate action to ensure inclusive social welfare. To awaken the public, it is the woman who must be awakened. Once she is on the move, the family moves, the village moves, and the nation moves. That is true, actually. This quote highlights women's empowerment as the foundational catalyst for holistic socio-economic development and national progress. Dimension and application: intergenerational impact. An educated, empowered woman improves family health, child nutrition, and educational outcomes. Socio-economic leadership. Example: women leading self-help groups. Kudambashree in Kerala drive rural economies and community resilience. Grassroots governance. Reserved seats for women in Panchayati Raj institution transform local governance and social priorities. Public life. Women leaders in public administration bring empathetic governance and inclusive policy making. Gender empowerment is not merely a welfare goal, it is an essential strategy for driving national development and ethical governance. Do not hate anybody, because that hatred that comes out from you must, in the long run, come back to you. If you love, that love will come back to you, completing the circle. Vivekananda. This quote articulates the law of moral reciprocity, stating that emotional intentions, whether hostile or compassionate, ultimately return to affect the sender's own character and well-being. Dimensions and application. You can see this repeated word, right? But do not focus on this, just focus on the content. Psychological integrity. Hatred creates inner cognitive dissonance and erodes personal peace, whereas empathy builds internal harmony. Administrative ethics. A public servant who approaches citizen grievances with prejudice breeds institutional distrust, while empathetic service builds social capital. Public life. Mahatma Gandhi's philosophy of ahimsa proved that responding to hostility with goodwill dissolves structural violence. Corporate ethics. A culture of care boosts workplace trust and productivity, whereas toxic hostility leads to organizational decay. Empathy is a self sustained moral virtue. Choosing love and understanding fosters emotional intelligence, personal growth, and societal harmony. What really matters for success, character, happiness, and lifelong achievements is a definite set of emotional skills, your EQ, not just purely cognitive abilities that are measured by conventional IQ tests. Do you agree with this? Give reasons in support of your answer. Emotional intelligence (EQ) is the ability to recognize, understand, and manage one's own emotions and those of others. While IQ provides cognitive capability, EQ determines how effectively that capability is applied in complex real world environments. I agree that, or you can say, we agree that EQ plays a decisive role in long term fulfillment and character building. Character and integrity. High EQ fosters self awareness and self regulation, preventing unethical shortcuts during crisis. Leadership and resilience enables empathy and conflict resolution under stress. An administrator facing mob fury relies on emotional composure and empathy rather than mere intellect to de-escalate tension. Happiness and relationship. EQ nurtures interpersonal trust and emotional stability, preventing burnout. While IQ acts as a basic entry threshold, EQ provides the ethical grounding, resilience, and empathy necessary for true success and public trust. Differentiate moral intuition from moral reasoning with suitable example. Moral intuition is the immediate non-inferential sense of right or wrong without conscious deliberation. Moral reasoning is the deliberate logical process of evaluating principles, consequences, and duties before arriving at an ethical decision. Comparative dimensions. Cognitive process. Automatic, subconscious, and instinctual. Deliberate, conscious, and analytical. Speed. Instantaneous, systematic, and time taking. Basis. Internalized values, culture, and empathy. Normative ethical theories and rules. Examples: moral intuition, instinctively diving into a river to save a drowning child without calculating personal risk. Moral reasoning, a public official systematically evaluating utilitarian consequences versus deontological duties when deciding land allocation for development project. Moral intuition provides an instant ethical compass, while moral reasoning ensures objective justification in complex administrative dilemmas. Is conscience a more reliable guide when compared to laws, rules, and regulations in the context of ethical decision making? Discuss. Conscience is the internal moral compass guided by deeply held values, whereas laws, rules, and regulations provide external codified standards for conduct. While rules ensures uniformity, conscience provides the moral spirit required when rules are silent or rigid. Dimensions and discussion. Limitations of rules. Laws can be incomplete, outdated, or misused to enforce unjust mandates. Apartheid laws. Conscience as a compass fills legislative gaps during unprecedented crisis. Administrative example: an officer providing temporary shelter to destitute individuals during a cold wave, transcending technical documentation rules, demonstrate conscience demonstrates conscience guiding justice. Risk of subjectivity. Unchecked resilience. Unchecked reliance on conscience risk personal bias. Hence, it must be anchored in constitutional morality. Conscience is a vital moral guide that humanizes rigid regulations, but ideal governance requires balancing inner conscience with codified constitutional principles. What are the major teachings of Guru Nanak? Explain their relevance in the contemporary world. Guru Nanak Dev Ji, the founder of Sikhism, propagated a egalitarian, ethical, and humanistic philosophy centered on spiritual devotion, social justice, and self-service self-service seva. Major teachings and contemporary relevance. Ek Onkar and universal humanism. Rejected caste hierarchies and ritualism relevant today in countering communalism and social polarization. Kirat Karo and Vand Chakho emphasized earning through honest labor and sharing resources, serves as an antidote to corporate greed and rising economic inequality. Langar and Seva, equality and service, institutionalized communal dining and selfless service, demonstrated global relevance during disaster relief operations. Example Khalsa Aid. Gender equality, championed equal dignity for women, providing a guiding light for modern gender justice. Guru Nanak's teachings provide a practical roadmap for building an inclusive, compassionate, and ethically grounded global society. Explain the term social capital. How does it enhance good governance? Social capital refers to the network shared values, social trust, and norms of reciprocity that enables individuals and groups to cooperate for mutual benefit within a society. Dimensions and enhancement of good governance. Promote civic participation. High social capital encourages community involvement in social audits, Jan Sunwai boosting administrative transparency, reduces transaction cost, mutual trust between citizens and state institutions, speeds up policy execution and reduces litigation, enhances public service delivery. Example, the success of Kerala's Kudumbashree model showcases how community networks optimize poverty alleviation and rural healthcare. Disaster resilience strengthens community-led first response during natural disaster prior to state intervention. Social capital acts as the social glue of democracy. Building community trust transforms state administration from top-down regulation into participatory governance.